Welcome back everyone. In this video, I will talk about how I reached a net worth of $250,000 at 28 years old. Let's define what net worth means before going any further. Net worth is the total wealth of an individual taking into account all of the financial assets minus any debt. My net worth is a really simple number to calculate. I do not have a house or any other loans. Therefore, I just add my bank account and investment accounts together to get my net worth. I have most of my investments with Fidelity because my company uses it for 401k and HSA. However, any brokerage firm that offers low expense funds and free trading would be great. Some of the other popular ones include Charles Schwab and Vanguard. This year, I decided to manually track my net worth, so I created a Google spreadsheet. The table and graph is a result of that. All the data I have in there should be a semi-accurate representation of my past net worth numbers. The chart was constructed based on Fidelity account statements, bank statements, and retirement account statements that I have available. The two tables on the left are my net worth trackers. The blue table tracks my net worth by month. The purple table tracks my net worth by year. The blue table gives me a more detailed look into my finances, while the purple table gives quick access to my annual net worth values. Let me quickly explain how the spreadsheet works. At the end of every month, I will go to the blue table and add a number to the net worth column. That will populate data into the blue and purple tables and into the graph as well. So if I enter something now, the month and growth column will populate. It will also add a data point to the graph. Once we reach the last month of the year, the purple table will automatically populate as well. Just FYI, the growth column accounts for both stock growth and additional money that I invest. That means the growth percentage will not exactly follow the stock market. Before going over the numbers, I want to give a quick background into how I even got to the first data point in the graph. My childhood. My parents immigrated to America and worked manual labor jobs, usually making $8 to $14 per hour. My family's financial situation was not exactly poverty level, but it was definitely paycheck to paycheck. The vibe I felt growing up was that we weren't going to be homeless at any point, but money was an ongoing issue. Eating out at restaurants like Olive Garden was more of a luxury. My family typically ate out at fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, or Taco Bell. Oftentimes, what we ate was based on the coupons we had. I have no complaints though. I loved eating at those places growing up, and I still like eating there every once in a while. I just don't like the unhealthiness and how the food makes you feel afterwards. Due to my parents' struggle, education was a major emphasis all throughout my childhood. I worked really hard throughout my school years. I did my best to get A's through primary school, middle school, and high school. For college, I went to a local state university and commuted from home. I started college not knowing what I wanted to do in life. I figured anything working with computers would have been the best choice from what I had available, so I started working towards a bachelor's degree in IT. In my junior year of college, I did an internship in the summer of 2015. From that internship, I was able to secure a full-time job offer. This leads to the first data point on the graph, May 2016, which was when I graduated college. The job offer was for $69,800. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I was so excited and quickly shared the news with my family. It wasn't doctor or software engineer level money, but it certainly felt like it to me. My title for my full-time job was Information Assurance Engineer. It's basically a generic title for someone working within the cybersecurity field. I started the job with not much in the bank account and $11,000 in student loan debt. Because I had good grades, most of the college tuition was covered by financial aid. With the little money I had, I rented an apartment near the workplace. It was over an hour drive each way, and I had done that drive throughout my internship. I did not want to do that commute every day. Funnily enough, my job had given me an option to work from home after a few months. It was an easy decision. I started working remotely from that new apartment. By May 2017 of the following year, my net worth reached $23,125.56. Within that time, I paid off my student loans and saved whatever I had left over. Most of my savings were either in my bank account or in my 401k. Also, my income had become $70,500 after completing a performance review. I'll include my income throughout the video as well, since my net worth is somewhat correlated to how much I earn. By December 2018, my net worth reached $27,783.90. In 2018, my salary was $72,000. My net worth had not increased much due to a few reasons. I paid the student loans for my brother, which was around $10,000 to $15,000. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was similar to my student loan debt. The second reason. After college, I had started helping my parents a little bit and I was sending them $500 or so every other month. Sometime afterwards, my dad told me he needed more help, so I started sending them $1,000 every month. I did not inquire what the money was for or how they used it. I saw all the sacrifices my parents had made for me while I was growing up, so I wanted to support them however I could. The third reason. I finished paying off the loan for my Honda Civic. That was probably not the most efficient move I could have made, but it did feel good to not see that monthly expense anymore. By December 2019, I reached a net worth of around $75,000. My income was a similar number as well at $74,000. Shortly after 2018, my parents and I agreed that I should start saving for my own personal goals. That means I did not have to send them $1,000 every month. I was naturally frugal, so an increase in savings was an automatic byproduct. I had about $35,000 in my 401k and $40,000 in the bank. The $40,000 was getting something like 0.8% in interest from a money market savings account. It was around this time when I started thinking to myself that I should do something with all the money I've been saving. I started researching and I stumbled upon Mr. Money Mustache's blog article called "The Shockingly Simple Math Behind Early Retirement." Retirement to me at that point felt like some unattainable goal. I thought you had to be 67 years old to retire. I did not understand the mechanics behind retirement at all. I just thought that the government took care of you at that point. Which isn't wrong, but Social Security may not look the same by the time I'm 67 years old. The Mr. Money Mustache article really sparked an intense interest in me. Learning about personal finance was really fun and all the new discoveries made me excited. I had read all about FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence and Retire Early. This led me down a rabbit hole about investments. All this reading about investments finally helped me understand that it is a common instrument that people use for retirement. Although there is a risk in investing in stocks, the risk is not as severe as I thought it to be. As long as I invest in a broad-based index fund like VTI, my portfolio will have very little chances of going to zero. If I held the index fund for the long term, there is a very high likelihood that my investments will give me a positive return and increase substantially. This is a complete 180 for me, who equated investing to gambling. My discovery of FIRE started my investment journey. After digesting all of that information, I wanted to invest all the money I had saved up until this point. Everything besides a 6-month emergency fund. Despite everything I learned, I was still a little apprehensive when it came down to the wire. $40,000 felt like a large chunk of money to me, and truthfully, it is more than 2 years' worth of expenses. I couldn't shake off my old skepticism and how I may lose everything even though the likelihood is minuscule. I decided to start small and slowly put chunks in over a couple months. I started in December 2019 and eventually invested $43,000 by the end of February next year. First, I put money in an IRA account for the year 2019 and 2020. The rest went into my regular brokerage account. As I was slowly investing my money, my account had been growing from both the interest and my increased savings rate. However, as everyone has experienced, in March 2020, the pandemic took a toll on the stock market and I saw a sharp decline in my account shortly after putting everything in. Luckily, I had read enough to know that I am investing for the long term. So I continued to invest. I kept thinking to myself that I was buying the stocks on sale. I had continued reading about personal finance and learned about tax loss harvesting. I took advantage of the stock market drop, sold the shares that were in the red, bought a different index fund, and deducted the losses in my future tax returns. In the end, it wasn't all bad. In fact, that year was when I saw my accounts grow so much more than I had expected. I did not expect the immediate recovery and then some. I continued following my game plan to save and shovel the savings into retirement accounts and brokerage accounts. The growth in the savings led to a balance of $151,870 by the end of 2020. That was a major milestone for me since I've always heard that the first $100,000 was the hardest. In 2021, the US stock market continued to soar. I also continued to invest as much as I could. I could not travel anywhere far for vacation and I did not have any expensive hobbies. So my money went into investing instead. By the end of 2021, it had grown to $263,920, which is another major milestone. Reaching $200,000. That leads us to the current year, 2022, where it's all red in my table. The market is down overall for the year and has been fluctuating quite a lot. I continued my usual lifestyle and invested whatever I had left over. Right now, my net worth is sitting at $245,553.36. This is all the investment vehicles I use currently. I have $111,000 in an individual brokerage account, $12,400 in a traditional IRA account, $11,600 in a Roth IRA account, $25,600 in a rollover IRA account, $70,200 in a 401k account, $5,800 in AHSA account, $7,500 in my bank account, $500 in Bitcoin and Ethereum, $1,000 in a Robinhood. These are my priorities for my investment vehicles. I want to max out IRA first, and the annual limit for that is $6,000 per year. It will increase to $6,500 in 2023. Second, I max out my 401k and the annual limit for that is $20,500. It will increase to $22,500 in 2023. Third, I max out my HSA account and the annual limit for that is $3,650. It will increase to $3,850 in 2023. These are the most important accounts to max out every year since they save you a ton of money via tax benefits. Afterwards, I put whatever I have left over in my individual brokerage account. The rollover IRA is from a change in 401k custodian that my company uses. So I rolled over my company 401k into my personal account. The Robinhood account and the crypto money was something I had for fun and didn't bother touching it. They only make up 2% of my portfolio, so I wouldn't focus on those too much. This is the composition of my net worth. About 95% of my net worth is made up of index funds, 48% in VTI, 17% in FSKAX, 24% in FXAIX, 6% in FGCKX.
VTI, FSKAX, and FXAIX are pretty similar in terms of return.
VTI and FSKAX track the total US market, while FXAIX track the 500 biggest companies in the US. FGCKX is the outlier out of the 4 index funds. It is a mutual fund that is managed by Fidelity. I have FGCKX because I had switched to this index fund in my 401k when I was doing tax loss harvesting. I had never switched the shares back to FXAIX because it performed so well in 2021. I have a very small amount in individual stocks and crypto. 0.7% in Apple, 0.3% in Microsoft, 0.4% in Tesla, 0.3% in Nvidia, 0.3% in crypto. Then 3% is cash, which I use as my emergency fund. That is my current net worth and what it consists of. Whenever I think back to the past, I feel like I was super lucky at many points in my life. My parents encouraged me to do well in school, which in turn helped me develop good study habits. I did not know what major I wanted to pursue in college and luckily chose a field of work that pays very well. I had a full-time job offer as a result of my internship. All of these factors have contributed to my current success. Why is it important to know your net worth? Knowing your net worth can be really helpful in determining your financial health. It is also a crucial part of planning your future goals. Your net worth number can be a good indicator of whether you are on track to meet your financial goals. These goals can be saving up for something like a house or a car. Another goal is retirement. Will you have enough to retire by 40, 50, 60, or 70? Just having a general idea of my net worth tells me that I have a safety net that I can rely on. I know that I have X amount of money to shelter me through some tough times. At the end of the day, net worth is just a number. It is all about how you utilize that number. For me, it is a visual goal that I can work towards. It's like trying to get an achievement within a video game, but it can also have a very tangible effect on my life. I also think that enjoying yourself during the accumulation phase of the journey is very important as well. Value your health first and foremost. For everything else, try to enjoy a variety of life experiences but still understand the inherent costs and benefits. Having knowledge about investing and my net worth helps me make these informed decisions. Anyways, that is all I have for this video. I really appreciate anyone who stuck around until the end. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.